But first, Prince Harry's ventures into TV have made global headlines and provoked a mix of admiration and fury. Some of the angriest critics are among his own family. Now, this week we've heard that there's more to come. Earlier, the Daily Mail's royal editor Rebecca English brought us up to date, and I started by asking her about the new show.
Well, this is a one-off show, which there are some people who might be rather relieved to hear that. And it's basically Harry and Oprah holding what they call a town hall, which is a kind of open forum with some of the people who've taken part in their mental health series, the Me You Can't See, including the actress Glenn Close. And it's basically a discussion of mental health issues and looking at a way to go forward with them.
And Rebecca, what's all the fuss about a bike ride?
Yes, the bike ride. So this has been commented on quite a lot. There have been people, the Daily Mail and other organisations, pointing out there have been quite a lot of inconsistencies in what Harry and Meghan have been saying over recent weeks and months. And the bike ride is one example of this. Harry mentioned in his Oprah interview, and he's also mentioned in the mental health series, that moving to the US, he's had the chance to take his son Archie on bike rides on the back of his bike, which is something he was never allowed to do as a member of the royal family, except he was. And there are photographs showing him and his mother and father out on numerous occasions on bike rides with their children. To be fair to Harry, I think what he was trying to do was make a wider point, saying that he wanted more freedom in his private life, and moving to the US, to California, would give him that. But of course, you know, when there is cold, hard proof to contradict what he's saying, it probably wasn't the best example to use.
Well, the palace have always gone with the never complain, never explain approach. Can we really expect that to carry on? Surely there'll be a tipping point.
I know I've said this before, and I probably sound like a bit of a broken record, but Buckingham Palace genuinely do not want to get drawn into a public slanging match with Harry and Meghan. That said, they are poking the bear a lot, and people are right to wonder whether there will be a tipping point. I don't think it will be anytime soon. I think what they're hoping that will happen is that Harry will just burn himself out saying what he wants to say, whether it's because it's from the heart or because he wants vengeance or revenge. They're just hoping that he will say it, get it off his chest, and then move on. Now, they were hoping that would happen with the Oprah interview, and obviously we've now seen this mental health series in which, you know, other truth bombs, as they've been dubbed, have been lobbed at the royal family. The question is this going to be enough for him? And the thing is, I suppose the question is, how would they fight back? You know, the Queen has already made very, very clear recollections vary on a lot of what they say, but she really wants to sort this out privately within the family. And I think it would take a real sea change in their attitude to this to go against what the Queen has already said.
Well, plenty to discuss, and it's time for me to bring in my esteemed panel. This week I'm joined by historian and writer Dr. Tessa Dunlop, and of course the Mail Saturday Diary editor Richard Eden. Thank you both very much for being with me. Richard, I'll start with you. I mean, the title of this new talk show, Where Do We Go From Here? I mean, it brings up the question, where do we go from here? Are they at a deadlock?
I mean, I'm sure the royal family feel exactly the same thing. You know, where do we go from here? And it will be more exasperation, you know, when or they hear about this latest programme, I would have thought, because so far there hasn't been a single broadcast that Harry hasn't used to attack his family and make all sorts of accusations. I've watched the Apple series, and, you know, in some ways it's very good. You know, I'm pleased that Harry has spoken about his mental health and his therapy and this type of thing, and that may be encouraging to other people, particularly men. But on the other hand, you know, why does he have to drag his family into it?
Richard.
You know, what about their mental health? All the time he's just attacking them publicly. I just think it's so unfair and unpleasant.
It's extraordinarily naive of you to expect him to do otherwise. We are the component parts of our upbringing. Our mental furniture is placed there courtesy of from whence we've come. And he happens to have come from the most famous family on the planet. But almost all celebrities, when they talk about their pain, their mental health, they make reference to their family, to their upbringing. Harry's no exception. And you use the word attack there. does he really attack them? Actually, in that Dax Shepard podcast, it was a very fleeting reference to which he actually supplemented with an apology beforehand. You know, he's just trying to explain why he's where he's at the moment in this curious crossroads in a foreign country with a foreign wife feeling a little bit vulnerable. And he's doing some mansplaining. You know, and a lot of people are listening because he happens to be Prince Harry married to Meghan.
I mean, my goodness, do you remember the criticism that the Duchess of York used to get when she gave a few interviews, even ones to Oprah? But she never spoke in this personal way about the royal family. She was always so complimentary about the Queen and her ex-husband. And I feel so sort of guilty that people criticised her at the time. You know, because it was nothing in comparison with this by Harry.
But we're living in a different era.
It does seem like it.
Well, but we are, and we're actually some of the agents of that change. We're constantly picking and meddling and looking for something to talk about, you know? And Harry is almost accidentally throwing us a bone because guess what? He needs to make a living. And how do you recommend an ex-prince keeps that giant Mexit juggernaut on the tracks? By talking about his heritage.
And Richard, what do you think? I mean, it's obviously great for the media to talk about all this, but how does it sort of play out for the image of the royal family?
I mean, I think, to be honest, there's a lot of sort of weariness that people are not... They've kind of made up their minds almost about Harry and Meghan, and I'm not sure that it's doing much damage to the royal family here. They're going about their business, and we'll talk about that later in the programme, and doing what they've always done. And I'm not sure that how much damage it is doing.
But
really
Richard, what is the point of a royal family if it doesn't have a brand abroad? And when I say abroad, one of the biggest brands our royal family had was its popularity stateside. So if our royal family is only speaking now to Little England, what's the point of it?
Well, yes, I mean, obviously Princess Diana was a huge global celebrity and that sort of thing. But I do think that Harry's not necessarily being adored around the world. You know, lots of people take a sort of British view that they're uneasy about his attacks on the royal family.
Harry's driven a stake through the royal relationship with America. He has.
No, I don't agree at all. And I'm sure we'll see on the next visit to, you know, when Biden comes here or when British royal family visit America, we will see the strength of that relationship between the two countries.
So you don't think it's been problematised?
No, not really. I don't think it's a problem.
Watch this space.
Watch this space, indeed. And Tessa, you mentioned the Meghan juggernaut, Mexit juggernaut. Do you think that they still have respect for the Queen?
There is a regrettable flaw in their thesis, for want of a better expression, where they constantly say, you know, we love the Queen, the exception is the Queen, and fail to recognise she is the personification, the embodiment of all that the monarchy is and does. And so it doesn't work, that idea of separating her from the institution, because, I mean, and in fact, he himself drew attention to it, Harry, when he said it wasn't just the way his father parented him, but the way his father had been parented. So they're the product of the Queen's vision. So that's unfortunate. But let's hope that most superficial fans of Mexit and Harry and Meghan and the royal family don't dig that deep. They just see the glass and the love and the criticism, and they go with the flow.
Fantastic American accent, Tessa. Well, that's all we have for you on our YouTube show, but never fear, you can watch the rest of the episode by heading to www.mailplus.co.uk/royals, where you'll find even more royal news and gossip. Click the link on screen now and see you there.